Our argument is focused on the portrayal of female journalists in the TV series and how it differs from the role of male journalists. We begin with a scene from the famous comedy show Friends, which shows a journalist interviewing Joey Tribbiani. The scene shows Joey flirting with the journalist and then in the end how he sleeps with the journalist to make her say what he wanted her to say. This shows how the female journalist crossed the ethical lines, showing her as unprofessional and putting pleasure before her work.
I'll have a cup of coffee.
And I'll have all the muffins.
So, according to your bio, you've done quite a bit of work before Days of Our Lives. Anything that you're particularly proud of?
Well, there's so many things. It's hard to pick just one.
Okay, how about when you're not working? What do you do in your spare time?
In my spare time, I read to the blind. And I'm also a mento for kids.
A mento?
You know, a mento, a role model.
A mento?
Right.
Like the candy?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Well, another thing that our readers always want to know is how soap stars stay in such great shape. Do you have some kind of a fitness regime?
We stars usually just try to eat right and get lots of exercise. I don't believe in these crazy diets, just everything in moderation.
Your muffins.
I'll take those to go. For the kids.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. You were on the show years ago, and then they killed you off. What happened there?
Ugh, it's so stupid. I said some stuff in an interview that I really shouldn't have said, but believe me, that is not going to happen today.
Understood. So what'd you say back then?
Oh, I said that I...
So, then let's talk about women. I'm sure our female readers will be interested to know about your romantic life.
Not much to tell there. I'm really shy.
So, that's it. I guess that's all I need. Thank you so much. I think they will be running this in the beginning of next month.
Second scene is from the TV series House of Cards. In the scene, it is shown that the character Zori Barnes claims that she crossed ethical lines to retrieve information, hence proving the argument that she had to use her body to be successful in her career.
Myself at your feet. Crossed ethical lines, professionally, physically, and I hold myself accountable for that.
A male journalist in the same series is seen as someone who works hard, do research, make contact, and get the news. This scene is a climax moment in the series since it shows Frank Underwood killing the journalist as she was getting out of his hands. Again, a portrayal of dominance of men is very obvious, and we argue that if it was a male, it would be definitely other way around.
I want to believe you, Francis. You know you...
On the other hand, the show Newsroom shows women in a very different way, but still shown as a character that is emotional, motherly, clumsy, or even unprofessional in some cases. Mackenzie, as one of the main characters, is seen as someone who brings her personal life to the office, and her role of executive producer is more like an office mother for the rest of the staff. Sacrifice is an important part of Mackenzie in season 1, and it also fits Haskell's view on how women is portrayed in films. The scene shows how Mackenzie is very emotional while the male journalist is being rational by using facts.
Before you got popular by not bothering anyone. Leno.
I think Jay and I would rather be employed if it's all the same to you.
It's not all the same to me, you punk. I've come here to take your IQ and your talent and put it to some patriotic fucking use. And where does it say that a good news show can't be popular?
Nielsen ratings.
We're going to do a good news show and make it popular at the same time.
That is impossible.
Between your brains, charm, looks and affability and my
Refusal to live in reality.
You.
It's impossible, man.
no!
The social scientists have concluded that the country is more polarized than at any time since the Civil War. The Civil War.
Yes, people choose the news they want now, but we
People
overcome
choose the
that.
facts they want now. So what you've just described is impossible.
Only if you think an overwhelming majority of Americans are preternaturally stupid.
I do.
I don't. And if you let me, I can prove it. You know what you left out of your sermon? That America is the only country on the planet that since its birth has said...
Post-feminist theory argues that woman's body is a reflection of her interior life, allowing the audience to understand the situation she is going through. Like Mackenzie, shown as worn out and without any makeup, it is from the time when she was going through a very hard period. Charlie Skinner goes to her and talks to her about coming back to news. Critics argue that this scene is an example of woman being guided by a man to get her back on her life, and also how her body is portrayed. In the end of the series, Mackenzie is the president of the news network. She's married and with a child. But post-feminist argues that this is a false sense of extraordinary, since she's still following the society's expectations of a woman. These arguments and scenes show that even with our progress towards equality, female journalists in Hollywood are still not challenging the stereotypical expectations. They are shown as being easily dominated by men and as someone who will cross ethical lines. But in the case of men, we will probably see a photojournalist becoming a superhero, like Spider-Man. The question is it possible to see a woman journalist as a superhero? One can just hope.